And welcome in to the ride, a journey to the tourney, where we bring you through the 2025-2026 college basketball season. My name is Andrew Hurley. I'm back here with Brett Bianchetti. And today we've got our Big East and Mountain West Conference previews. But before we get into that, Brett, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you, man?
Doing good.
Yeah.
So some news in this college basketball season just before we get going here. A big thing that happened over the weekend, Tyon Grant Foster, formerly of GCU, transferred to Gonzaga, was declared uneligible for this college basketball season. So pretty big deal for the Zags there. Might drop them out of some top 25 rankings. We'll see how that affects their season going on this year, but he was definitely going to be an important piece of that team. So definitely matters for them. And then just some quick, as probably a bunch of you guys know, that a lot of secret scrimmages have been happening. It's just some exhibition games that colleges will play. I'm just going to go through a couple of these scores from some notable programs. Take all of these with a grain of salt. Don't think that these are the most important games of the year. Don't think that these have the same equivalent to actual preseason games or actual. Once we get to that November 3rd mark, these are just some exhibition games coaches want to get together. Oklahoma State beat Auburn in what was apparently a crazy game. Keyshawn Hall had 26 for Auburn, so I mean that's a little bit of a bright spot, but good win for Oklahoma State. And then Alabama beat Florida State by 4 in a shootout, 109 to 105. LeBron Philon had 28. Robert McCray for Florida State had 26. So pretty exciting game there. Cincinnati beat Michigan. Axel Lendenberg did end with 31 points though, so hopefully he's going to continue that, looking to live up to the hype.
Mhm.
Creighton beat Iowa State by 13. Uh, their leading scorer was Nick Graves. He put up 13. Just a lot of players in that. Once again, like this is more about coaches getting through their rotation, figuring out what they want. Joshua Jefferson scored 18 for Iowa State. And then the last one that I'm going to touch on, Nebraska beat BYU by 1 in a fun game, apparently. It was 90 to 89. Rink Mass, one of their big guys, scored 31 points.
Mhm.
AJ DeBonsa had 30. So I wish I could have watched that one. But did you watch any of these? See anything from
I
these secret
caught
scrimmages?
the beginning of the Bensa game, and he had a really big role for BYU. So I thought that was kind of interesting. There's some ISOs. I mean, there's a lot of like point debounce at times, so it'll be interesting
Hmm.
to see how he plays. And I know as well, I'm pretty sure that Creighton won without their front court. I don't think McAndrew or Freeman played, so that's a pretty impressive win for them too.
Yeah, absolutely. Creighton's a team we're going to be talking about quite a bit today as we have our Big East preview. So how we're going to do this, as usual, Brett's going to go through. We're going to do all 11 teams from the Big East. He's going to name his 11. I'm going to say where I had him, and we're going to go onward all the way to the number one spot. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's get it.
So with the Big East, my last place team, 11th, I had DePaul. Where did you have DePaul?
Wow. So this is the Big East is one of the crazier conferences, especially towards the bottom. Uh, I actually really liked DePaul this year.
Mm,
I had him at
okay.
7.
Okay. I think the advanced stats had them higher than last. Could be wrong. But yeah, I was just I mean the lineup I had was Layden Blocker, RJ Smith, CJ Gunn, Caleb Banks, um, NJ Benson, and then Jeremy Lorenz. Uh, I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna be a pretty tiny lineup from the looks of it. I noticed they were pretty small, unless they have Common Maker. Maybe I'm not sure what he's like projected to be. He's at St. John's last year in his first year, but he's big. But the rest of them are pretty small. Um, yeah, the three tallest guys on their starting lineup for me at least are 6'8". So I'd say that's questionable. I like the wings scoring a lot, but I mean the guards aren't really like special, and I don't think like with the size, no, there's not a lot special for this team for me. Maybe you see something else.
Yeah, I really like what CJ Gunn and Layden Blocker do for this team. And I actually do really like their coach, Chris Holtman, I think is a really
Mm,
good coach. Caleb Banks from Tulane is one of my favorite transfers in the conference. He's efficient, does his job well. I understand what you're saying about the front court. NJ Benson does play pretty big for his size, though. I know they have him listed at what, 6'8" or 6'9". He returns. He didn't play a ton last year, but was efficient in his he got. Had some good games, averaged 9 and 6. But he plays well. He plays well for his size. And yeah, I think Come Maker might take somewhat of a jump into having at least some sort of role. I mean, obviously St. John's last year had a decent front court, so he wasn't getting a ton of run there. But I really like CJ Gunn. I think he's gonna. I think he needs to improve on his shooting a little bit. Wasn't very efficient from shooting, but I think he'll be fine. And I do like to fall better than some of these other teams towards the bottom of the conference.
Mm, okay. So at my 10, I have Seton Hall. I think they might be one of the teams that's lower generally than DePaul. Who do you have them?
Yeah, I had Seton Hall at 11. I, I don't love the team.
Okay. I'll try to convince you. So,
Yeah, I want to hear this.
um, you're probably familiar with TK Simpkins at Oregon, but his twin is
Hmm.
also at Seton Hall. He averaged 14, 4, and 3 um last year with Elon playing with his brother. And then the guy I really liked was Bud Clark, Adam Clark from Merrimack. He averaged 24 and 6. He's really, really nice. He was like Merrimack's entire team last year, so he's a fun guard. I think that's a really good backcourt. They got Elijah Fisher from Pacific. He averaged 15. I would say the front court's kind of iffy, but I also noted that the bench, like there's a lot of guard depth. Trey Parker from NC State. Um, he played quite a little bit, 4 points per game in his first year though. AJ Stanton McCray averaged 7 at Miami last year and 11 at Sanford the year before. Josh Rivera averaged 10 and 4 with Fordham. So I feel like there's like they're kind of young, but there's some experience. I'd say that's like a really, really good backcourt. Compared to some of the teams in this conference, I like those two quite a bit. Um, I don't know if there's really, I mean, it's really just the guards that I like, but there's not a lot of shooting, so I could see that being a concern. Maybe. What do you think?
Yeah, Adam Clark was a good scorer. Yeah, I was kind of going to note that he wasn't a great shooter, but I mean, he definitely could up that in his game. But yeah, he was super consistent last year. Elijah Fisher's definitely my favorite. I think I even
Mm,
prefer him over Clark. Uh, he's going to be a little bit better of a shooter, not much, but he also put up good numbers. Yeah, the front court is, I think it's going to be really bad.
yeah.
Um, Pat Sumnick from Oklahoma State. He didn't really play much. Oklahoma State's not really a great program in the Big 12. I mean, I guess Jacob Darr showed some like flashes at Rice of being a good like stretch the floor big. He actually shot pretty well from three. Uh, he's not much of a defensive presence. He's okay, but yeah, I'm just really worried about this front court in a league that honestly like this Big East does have some pretty solid front courts all around the league. So I think that's going to be a really tough spot for them. Not sure how they're going to be able to. I mean, even just as simple as like on the boards, I don't even think they're going to be able to keep up with teams. I think they're going to get out rebounded quite a lot. So I do like Adam Clark and Elijah Fisher. I think, like you said, that is a good backcourt, but I don't think it's good enough to really justify having them carry that front court, which I think is going to be pretty bad.
Okay. So at 9, I had Georgetown. Did you have Georgetown?
Georgetown on my eight.
Okay. So they were pretty low on the advanced stats as well. They have a lot of guards, I noticed.
Mhm.
And KJ Lewis obviously a guy that people look towards. Malik Mack, he was averaged 13. He's pretty inefficient, but he's there. Jeremiah Williams from Rutgers. Deshaun Harris Smith is a wing who I kind of liked. I don't know if he'll start because they also brought in Langston Love from Baylor. Kind of assume he starts.
I think
Um,
Langston Love will definitely start over.
yeah, I didn't know if like they might have. It's a weird lineup because I had to have Caleb Williams start at the 4. They didn't
Mhm.
really have. There was a lot of like smaller kind of guard wing guys, so it was a weird lineup. That's kind of where I didn't love them. They got um Vince Chukwu
He would
from
Chunkwoo.
USC. Yeah. He averaged 5 and 4. He's pretty tall, so he's a nice add, I guess, for a five. It's pretty, you know, mediocre, I guess. But we'll see what he does. Georgetown. Um, they have quite a bit of power forward talent, honestly. But I'm just not like a huge fan of any of them in particular. I don't really. I mean, KJ Lewis is like a good player from Arizona, but it's not like a. He doesn't strike me as a guy who would be like a really high scoring guard or anything. He doesn't. No, it just doesn't do much for me. And then the front court overall, I guess, just isn't really that big other than their two 7 footers. They also had Julius Halai Fonu. He's 7 foot 260, first year last year. So I don't know. It's okay. I mean, KJ Lewis, Langston Love, that's really like Jeremiah Williams, Sean Harris Smith. Those are some pretty like solid role players at the power forward level. I don't know how they'll be as like more lead guys, I guess, for Georgetown.
Yeah, I do really like KJ Lewis from Arizona. Played a good amount of minutes for them. Did not shoot, not a shooter at all. So Malik Mack, I think, is gonna have to take a big shooting position there. I assume he's gonna be the lead point guard. Um, Decent distributor, but he shot well from three last year. Didn't shoot great from inside the arc, but that's fine, honestly, for this team. Like, you're not too worried about that. I do like Caleb Williams and Vincent Enchukwu. It's inexperienced. I mean Vincent Iwuchukwu is a senior, but I mean he hasn't had years where he's consistently in the lineups, and he played like 35% of the minutes for St. John, so it's something. But uh, Caleb Williams and Julius Halifanwa are going to have to take some sort of leap into being a rotational big if Georgetown wants to have a decent year this year. But I think above them, it's definitely possible that I mean I'm not in love with the Big East this year. I think it's kind of a down year for the Big East. So there's no reason why Georgetown couldn't be like a top 16. But as of right now, with some of the inexperience and some of the shooting inconsistencies, I don't know how they're going to be able to do with that.
I don't really know either. I'm just kind of, impartial. They're okay. They're just there. So
Right.
at 8, I have Butler. Where'd you have Butler?
Yeah, I put Butler at my 10.
Okay. I kind of like Butler. I'm not totally sure what the front court is gonna look like. I really like Drayton Jones. Um, I don't know. I'm probably biased in starting him. He averaged a block and a half and a steal, 13 and 5 at South Carolina State. Is also a major I liked quite a bit last year. But they also have Johan Traore, who could definitely start the 5 too, I think. I don't really know. Um, did I don't even know. This team is like Jalen Jackson was a guy like they added from Purdue Fort Wayne. He's another. I mean, there's a lot of guards that are coming in who are just like high score guys. He's nothing like that much better, I don't think, than anybody else. But Michael Ajayi is kind of like another role player, I guess, from Power Four. Man, I don't really know much about this team, honestly. I mean, they're pretty
Yeah,
strong, I'd say. They're a pretty big team. Um, and then there's like the depth, I don't really love it, I guess. There's like a lot of power forward guys who are pretty unproven, and then a couple like good major guys sprinkled in. So I don't really know how the rotation lines up. I don't know who's gonna be the guy, and so kind of mushed for me right now. I don't think.
yeah. I don't hate the backcourt. You didn't mention him, I don't think, but Finley Bizjack is a returner who he shot the lights out last year and shot 43% on 138 attempts. Um, he's good. I actually really like him. I really like Yame Butler coming in. He's from Drexel, another guy who's a good shooter. Beyond that, not a ton of shooting chops I see. Um, I don't think Michael Ayayi is a great shooter. I know he was decent at Pepperdine, but last year was a big time regression. So I guess he could have a better turn up. The freshman class actually isn't horrible, but I don't like relying on freshmen in this rotation, especially in. I mean, Xavier Robinson is actually a good freshman who I like. Beyond that, they have a couple guys who could make the rotation. Jackson was good at Purdue Fort Wayne, but the front court's shaky. They're gonna have to rely on some freshman talent. I'm not completely sold on Butler this year.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like maybe I like the projection. I think they had four stars was their class. That's like way more than any other team in the conference, but I don't really see this year as being the year they're all in
Yeah,
or anything. So at my seven, I have Xavier. Where do you have Xavier?
Xavier at my 9.
Okay. Ooh, I actually like Xavier quite a bit. So, I mean, it's gonna be a pretty average shooting team compared to what they were last year, but it's a new coach in Patino, so it's kind of expected. Um, I like the guards and wings quite a bit. I think Malik Moore from Montana. I think he's awesome. He was really good last year with Montana. Um, and then All Right is also um, gonna be a good
All-time
shooter.
name, all-time name,
Yes,
all right.
and shockingly, it's actually a team who can they have those two can shoot really well. All Right, it's 38% from three guy, five threes a game at Valpo in his first year, and Malik Moore, 41% from three, five attempts as well. Um, yeah, I like that. Trey Carroll is also a guy I'm pretty like I like him quite a bit from FAU. I thought he was pretty solid last year. I think he's pretty decent two-way guy. He's okay shooter. He does a little bit of quite a lot. So I like him. I wasn't sure. I like Boro Vakanen. I think that's how you say it. Um, he came with Patino. I would have him starting, but I know Gabriel Pozzato from Evansville is also a guy who might start. Um, he's younger though. I would have Boro, but we'll see. And then my issue for the team, I guess, was probably the front court because I don't know. You watched more of Virginia than me last year, I'd say, but Anthony Robinson is their projected five. Um, is either him or Papa
Up and
India
die. Yeah.
India, yeah, from UNLV. So both of them are like very inexperienced. Both of them just didn't really get a lot of chances last year to like prove themselves as a good big. Jovan Milicevic is another 7 footer. He's coming with they're from NM from with Patino, so maybe he gets the shot. But I mean, all three of those guys are in their first year last year, and none of them really got playtime, like that significant playtime. So I really, like you said, this conference has a lot of good front court, so I'm kind of iffy on that part.
Yeah, I took a lot of just looking into the front courts at the bottom of this conference into my opinions here. I mean, you have teams with front courts like Zuby Ejiofor. You've got like Terrace Reed, Ben Gold, Owen Freeman, and like Jackson McAndrews, who are just gonna I feel like tear apart these teams with
Mhm.
these inexperienced, not proven front courts. That being said, I mean the Xavier roster is completely brand new. I don't necessarily hate that. I do like Richard Pitino. We'll talk about that with New Mexico even later in the Mountain West this episode, but it's a brand new looking roster. I don't know. I haven't watched a ton of these guys play. They look decent on paper. I honestly am just until I see it. Honestly, it's kind of the thing for me. But I guess maybe I'm a little pessimistic on that, but I'm not completely sure how that's brand new transfer heavy, mid-major heavy roster is going to look.
Sure. I think they're kind of fun team, but I don't
Yeah,
really know how it'll work out this year. So at six, I had Villanova. Where do you have Nova?
six-side Villanova.
Okay, cool. So I think this team is maybe a bubble team. It kind of depends on how their non-conference turns out. I've seen that they played BYU, Michigan, and Wisconsin. So, I mean, they must have some pretty high expectations at least for this year. Um, Askew and Lindsay are both new guys, but they're, I mean, Devin Askew, 19, 4 and 4, 1.5 steals, 37% from three, six threes a game.
Mm-hmm.
Then Bryce Lindsay, 13, 3 and 2 at JMU, 41% from three on 7 attempts. So that's a really good shooting backcourt. And then the Duke Brennan was actually a big part of me having them here. Is like I think they're kind of like similar-ish with the backcourts and stuff to some of the teams below them, but Duke Brennan's definitely a step above like any other big from those teams I had below them. So that was a big part of why I had them there. Um, Not a whole lot of like continuity. I mean, they had a couple guys from Maryland, a couple guys from. I don't think they brought anybody back from Nova last year, but I mean, it seems like a decent team. Zion Stanford's also a nice little ad. I don't really see. I had him off the bench for Tyler Perkins and Gapar, but I think he's also a nice person to add on.
Yeah, I mean, Devin Askew should be the top scorer on this team. I'm not sure Tyler Perkins is expected to take a bit of a leap, but I think Devin Askew is going to be awesome. Like you said, Duke Brennan. I really like Duke Brennan. And my favorite thing about this team is actually the freshman class. They have a pretty elite freshman class coming in. A Caden Lewis is going to be my guy for everybody to watch.
Mm,
He's a skilled scorer and passer. He's really good in the pick and roll, and he should start. He should fight for a starting spot.
mm, interesting. Okay, it's an interesting one to bring up. So, should we move on to my five? Okay, so at
Go
five,
for it.
I had Marquette. Um, I know you like Marquette. Where do you have
I
them?
like Marquette a lot. I like Marquette. I like Shaka Smart more than I even like Marquette. Yeah, I had Marquette at my three.
Okay, so this isn't really about them being bad. It's more I do like the teams above them quite a bit. So I don't think they're gonna be terrible. I think they could be a fringe tournament team. The bench is really gonna be like first or second year guys, but they did bring in some talent, or quite a bit of talent actually. They about one, two, three, four, five, 4 stars. Looks like. Um, but that is kind of sketchy. This is a really experienced conference, so I don't love that. But I do, I like the big three, maybe big four-ish kind of thing with Chase Ross, Zay Lowry, Royce Parham, and Ben Gold. I do like them. They didn't really have the roles that they're gonna have this year. And last year, I did feel like I don't know, they didn't really get much better, I don't think, if any better. And last year, I think the really like big part of them being a good team was Cam Jones, and the what kind of held them back was the rest of the roster. So I don't really see how they could get better after losing Cam Jones and not really improving anywhere else in particular.
Speaking of Cam Jones, did you see the arrest thing? The
No, I didn't. What happened to him?
um, I just saw this. It was Cam Jones was like involved in like a police chase and like high speed chase from the cops, and he just got thrown in jail. This was yesterday. It was just something
Whoa,
I saw. Kind of crazy, right?
that's crazy.
Anyways, back to the Marquette from this year.
Yeah.
I love and it's kind of like you see like what Clemson does in football, the non-transfer portal thing. It's zigging when everybody else is zagging. I like it this year. I like Chase Ross to take a jump. I really like Ben Gold from last year. He stretches the floor really well. I think he's going to take a leap. Losing Cam Jones does suck, but I feel like just taking all of those points and all of those touches, spreading them out for the rest of the team, it's not going to be a bad thing. And like you said, the freshman class is pretty elite. Shaka Smart helps freshmen really well. I think that they're going to be solid this year. I think they're going to be a tournament team. I like this is the I think Chase Ross show for a little bit until anybody else steps up, but he's a good shooter. Ben Gold's a good shooter, so I like this team.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't, I'm not as big on 'em. But at my four, I have Providence. Where'd you have Prov?
I have Providence in my five.
Okay, so not too far off. I just like them. I actually like them quite a bit more than Marquette, honestly. But I just don't think you see a duo like Jason Edwards or Duncan Powell very often at a team like Providence. Really, any team outside of that kind of common big four now, I guess. So I really love those two. I think they could honestly both be like all Big East team contenders. I think it's all around as well around them. Like the rest of the lineup's not too bad. Um, Most of the non-returning guys were are coming from Power Four. I think this is like a really solid tournament team, honestly. Just go through my lineup. I'd say I had Jason Edwards, obviously. Corey Floyd. Jalen Sellers is a guy. I mean, he's not like he wasn't crazy at UCF, but he's definitely a vet. Um, Duncan Powell, and then Oswin Er Unwudsey. I don't know how to say that name,
Your guess
but
is as good as mine.
he's pretty efficient last year, 7.5 and a block and a half in his first year. So I like the starting lineup quite a bit. I think there's like the bench is okay. It's not nothing to write home about, but it's solid.
Yeah, Jalen Sellers and Jason Edwards, I think, are both going to be good scorers. Jalen Sellers struggled with some injuries, but when he's on the court, he's an elite shooter. He's showed that last year when he played in what 3 games, but prior to that, when he was in the MAC, he was shooting the lights out. I like Jalen Sellers. Jason Edwards could be a 20 point per game guy, honestly. So I mean that backcourt is pretty nice. I think Duncan Powell from Georgia Tech, like you said, pretty good. And then I'm going to talk a bit more about freshmen. I really like Jamir Jones coming in. He's an elite athlete, and I just kind of watched a few of his things. I hope he develops this year into a bench role. He's not necessarily a polished guy yet, not gonna get off his bag, but really, really good athlete, 6'6", good frame, good skills. So yeah, I like what they're at. Yeah, Oswin, my boy Oswin. Uh,
Yeah.
he's gonna have to take another step, but he was good last year. 7-5 is always good. Got to improve from the free throw line, sub 50% from the free throw line. But yeah, not a great front court to be at the top of this list per se. But I do think the scoring from Jason Edwards and Jalen Sellers will be enough to get them into the top of the conference.
I like Duncan Powell quite a bit, so it kind of helped with the front court for me. But I see it.
Yeah, I mean, he's 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 not a great defender. He's does not exactly a great defending big, perchance. I mean, by any means, he could
Shooter though.
obviously he can shoot. Yeah, you're right. You're right. He can shoot it.
Okay, so oh, so at my three, I'm probably your three, Creighton. Or no, your four.
Now I had Marquette at my 3, so Creighton's gonna slide down to my 4.
Okay, okay. So I like this team. I like the duo they brought in and Blake Harper and Owen Freeman. I think that is awesome. I think that's about as good as you can get for a top two of your class going into Creighton. And then also I really like the what they're bringing back. In Zugic and McAndrew, I thought they were both really solid role players last year. I know they didn't have huge roles. McAndrew was a good stretch big, but I think both of them could definitely take some jumps. I like the shooting a lot on the team. It's kind of shooting everywhere, honestly. Blake Harper, he's pretty low volume, but he shot 40% from three. Josh Dix from Iowa, 42% shooter, 5 threes a game. I'm sure he could shoot more this year. They'll probably let him air it out. Jackson McAndrew, 35% from three, but 5.5 attempts. So that was in his first year. I really like Jackson McAndrew. I think he'll have a big year. And then Owen Freeman averaged 17 and 7 before he got hurt in Iowa. I really liked watching him. Cut a couple games, and he was pretty good. And I mean, when you have a big like him, it helps a lot when you're playing other big heavy teams. So that was nice. Nick Graves they brought in as well. Averaged 17 and 4. He's a pretty inefficient shooter, but I think I had him off the bench, but he's not a bad piece at all. And the rest of the lineup, I mean, like they brought back Jason Green, brought back Isaac Trout, and then Liam McChesney, from Illinois State. I think is a pretty solid backup big. So I like the big three. I think they brought back a good amount of returners. I like quite a bit.
Yeah, this is less. I mean, I have Creighton below Marquette. That's more for my belief in Marquette than it is my fading Creighton. I didn't have them in my top 25, but I mean, not to say that they're a bad team. The shooting is good. It's not the greatest, but it's solid. Josh Dix should be a bucket. Blake Harper is expected to take quite a good leap from Howard. I'm not sure how much his game transfers. Obviously, he was a great shooter last year, great scorer overall. Like you said, 20 point per game guy. I do love the front court though, man. I love Owen Freeman and Jackson McAndrews, so that's definitely the bright spot. But I mean, Jason Green was decent last year. He played a lot of minutes for them, but didn't really jump out, I guess. Played his role well. He's a decent defender. Rebounds all right, but I don't I hope he takes the leap. I mean, the wing play and the guard play has some question marks. I'm not a huge Nick Graves guy, but I do
Mm,
like Josh Dix, so I think Creighton will be good this year.
yeah, I do too. So I might too. I have UConn. Do you have one more or two?
UConn on my two.
Okay, cool. So last year it was. I think they really were just set off by that bad beginning at Maui. I think they
Yeah.
would have been a lot better if they didn't have any of that happen and just like, but they couldn't really get over that. This year they definitely improved, I would say. I like Silas Damari a lot from Georgia. I think he's awesome. He's probably one of my favorite transfers in the conference. 13, 4, and 3. I think he really jumped out a bit at the end of the year, second half of the year for Georgia. So he was good. He shot well, 37%, 4.5 threes a game. Solo balls coming back. Not a good shooter, 7 threes a game, 41%. I think I'm pretty sure he's the guy this year for them, but I think overall they'll be able to spread out really well this lineup. Um, Braylon Mullins was my three. I had him starting because I think he fits what this team is. I think he matches this team well. He'll shoot well this year. And it was either him or Jalen Stewart. I don't know. I went with Mullins, but um, Caravan's coming back for another year, another shooter. Um, not super efficient, but I mean 6 threes a game, 35%. That's pretty solid too. And then my guy, I love Tarish Reed. Um, I love Tarish Reed, so I think he's gonna have a big jump. He's been a pretty popular like breakout guy or whatever this offseason. I've seen that quite a bit. I hope they give him the chance. He didn't really have the opportunities last year. That's why I don't really like Hurley a lot. Dan Hurley is not my guy. I know you like Dan Hurley, but I was pretty annoyed how he was treating Tar Street solo ball. I hope he manages this rotation better. Um, but we'll see what happens. There'll be a I mean, last year they're higher powered offense. They'll be even better this year. This will be a fun offense. They'll score a lot. The defense, I don't know. I don't really see what they got better at. And they were 75th last year. I'm sure a lot of that was with that rough start. But now they're projected 13th in KenPom. I think they're a little overshot, personally, for what they did this offseason, defensively at least.
Yeah, I don't expect them to be a top 15 defense or 13. I don't really expect that. I agree with your Dan Hurley take. I do like Dan Hurley. I like the energy he brings. He's going to always be a controversial coach, always until he's done. But until he really messes up, how bad could it be?
Mm,
I do think he's a good coach. Solo Ball, I think, is a art. You could argue he's the best shooter in the country as of right now, with the volume he does it at. Silas Demery, like you said, was really good. I like Alex Caravan. I don't love him, but I like him.
mm,
And yeah, my guy, like you kind of said, was Braylon Mullins. I am excited. Another 5 star coming into UConn. I think he's going to be good. Will be a good shooter. Will be a good all around player. Don't expect him to put up huge numbers, but Jalen Stewart off the bench will be good. I like their returners. I like their transfers. UConn's good. This top two in the Big East, obviously, with St. John's and UConn it's up there with any top two in the country. These guys are going to be able to compete. The Big East is really highlighted by these two teams we're talking about next. So yeah, I like UConn.
So at my one, I have St. John's. Where'd you have St. John's? Your one
St.
as
John's
well.
on my one.
Yep.
Yep.
So I mean, the only controversy I would say for me, I had Dylan Darling starting as their point. Ian Jackson's supposed to be their guy, I think, at point. And have Shannon start. I I'm not a huge Shannon guy, but I mean, either any way they put it, I think this lineup's really nice. I think Zuby. is going to be one of the best players in the country. Zubi Ejiofor, I love the guy. He's my guy last year. I think he was the best player last year as well on this roster. I think he's great. I think he and the rest of the lineup are. I know there's kind of concerns, at least with the scrimmage, whether or not this team really fit well. But I think that's something you can look past when you have so much talent here. They'll shoot better this year. Darling shoots. Bryce Hopkins can shoot a little bit. Ozai Sellers from Stanford can shoot a bit. Sandin, because he's a really good shooter for first year guy. And then, I mean, the rest, there's not a lot for me to dislike. I like Dylan Mitchell. I think they'll play good defense this year. They have pretty good size. They're led by Ejiofor. I like that. Um, Interested to see what you think about the team. I'm pretty biased to them. I like them last year as well.
Yeah, I think the loss of RJ Luis is a great thing for this team.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Pitino's awesome. Zuby Ejiofor, player of the year in my opinion. I think Ian Jackson is going to start at the point. I think Dylan Darling will come off the bench. I like Sandin starting. I do like Sandin, but I think this is just an overall good team. They're deep. They have good wing depth. Have the good top end talent. I expect Ian Jackson to take a leap, like most people expect him. I mean, a leap when he averaged 12 last year on good efficiency is. I mean, I think if he gives them even that, it's going to be awesome. But I think he's got more in the tank. And yeah, I just really like what Patino's got on this roster this year. I think they're going to be the best team in the conference.
For sure. Yeah, I heavily agree with that. RJ Lee's take. I think he held them back last year, honestly, especially in that
Hmm.
final game of March. So I think that's
Right, I agree. I think that this roster looks better this year than it did last year. So
for
I'm
sure, for
excited.
sure.
All right, and then I think that should lead us into the Mountain West Conference. Same format. We're gonna go from the bottom to the top. Mountain West has 12 teams. We just decided to get through all of them. So, Brett, give me your 12.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's your 12 too, honestly. Is it Air Force?
It's Air Force. It's
Okay.
always Air Force.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This team did kind of sucks.
They don't belong in the Mountain West, man. They
They
really
really
don't.
don't.
And I love what they do like in football. I think that's cool for an academy school to be so all right at football, but man, this basketball team is bleak.
Yeah, they lost most of their production. They brought back three guys I think who could play some decent time. Kyle Marshall in his first year averaged 7-4. Caleb Walker averaged 6-3, and then Wesley Kowski 9-2. There's not a lot of experience at all, and they have a decent front court, I guess, but the rest of the teams, eh.
Yeah, I mean, Selichowski's 7 foot, only averaged 2 rebounds. That doesn't
Yeah,
scream to me. I don't love that. I mean, he's not a great he's an all right defender. This team is all freshmen. It's gonna be a rough year for Air Force, just like it
yeah,
was last year.
yeah.
I
Well,
think that's all we need. I think we're gonna move on from Air
yeah, I
Force.
don't have much about this next team really either. I had Fresno State at my 11.
Yeah, Fresno on my 11.
Okay, I do think this team is better, but still not very good. Heidi Heidebreder, Heidebreder, Clemson,
Hybrid, yeah.
Heidebreder, yeah.
Yeah.
They got Clemson guy. That's cool. Um, the rest see Zion Collins averaged 12. Cam Foss averaged 10-4 at Kansas City. It's not a lot here, honestly. They have a couple decent players. They have like no bigs, they have no depth, and so
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't.
I do actually like Zan Collins. He was one of their better players last year. Going to be solid in his junior year. Yeah, the depth is bad. Even like I mean, obviously they're going to rely a lot on freshmen. It's not anything crazy. The freshman talent coming in, they're going to have to rely on some of them to possibly start going into the year. It's just going to be, yeah. I don't like this Fresno team either.
Yeah, yeah. I actually get to a team I'm okay with here at 10. I have San Jose State. What do you have San Jose State?
Whew. I actually like San Jose State. I had them at my 8.
Okay. So the guy for me, I like Kobe Garland, from
Hmm.
Longwood. I liked him a lot. I liked watching him. He's cool. And then Javon Hanna, I think's the other guy for them from Western Michigan, averaged 12-4. So I like the backcourt actually. That's pretty nice. The rest of the team is just kind of, okay to me. They're bringing back quite a few bench freshmen from last year, but I mean, overall, I don't really see much hope for the team. I don't know. What do you think? What do you like about them?
Yeah, I do like the backcourt as well. And then one of the guys that I like am really high on is Sidrak Nganga.
Mm,
6'10", plays a bit of the four. He can actually shoot it really well. Was fairly inconsistent in games, streaky kind of player. Didn't had some times in the season where he wasn't getting much run, but I actually like what he was able to do. Think he needs to. I think he's going to be the starting four next to Yafet Mondi from I think he's from Iona,
hmm
who also was decent last year, averaged 10 and 7. Decent defender, averaged about almost 2 stocks a game. So the rest of the team, the depth is all right. They have some decent transfer talent though, and Adrian Myers is coming in, another power four guy. He's coming in from Mississippi State. I mean, don't know how much that means, but I do like Kobe Garland, like you said. I think he's going to be the guy for this team, especially at the beginning of the season. Good scorer, decent shooter. So yeah, I actually like the San Jose team. Not necessarily to be good, but to not be
hmm
bad.
Yeah. I don't think any team other than Fresno State and Air Force, I think are gonna be bad. I like there's at least okay teams, I think.
Right, right.
So at my nine, I had Wyoming. Where'd you have Wyoming?
I had Wyoming on my 10.
Okay. So this is another team I'm like pretty solid with the backcourt. Leland Walker is pretty good, and then Caden Bennett from Quinnipiac, pretty solid as well. I don't really think this is like a year for them to like expect a whole lot. I think they're a pretty young team. I think the future looks actually kind of okay, but I mean, other than the backcourt, I don't think there's a whole lot to be like hopeful for, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. The size is not great. I do like Bellick and Magasa, who are some returners. The rest of the team, I mean, who knows what to expect? They have some like D2 talent, I think, coming in. Yuto Yamanouchi Williams is a guy who's kind of bounced around, been in some spots. I'm not sure if he's still in the lineup or still on the roster. Some people had him on it, some people didn't. But if he's on there, it's something. It's some sort of size. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Wyoming is not gonna be too great. I do like Leland Walker, like you said though.
Yeah, Leland
He
Walker's
was
a
he
good
was
player.
actually he was actually pretty decent at FAU last year, so
hmm
I do like Leland.
Yeah. Okay. So at my eight, I have Nevada. Nevada.
At my 8 is where, or at Nevada, and where in Nevada I had it 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. So it's definitely a bit more complete of a roster compared to the rest. So I understand. So I think their guy is probably Tayshawn Comer. Um, he's kind of inefficient at Evansville, but he averaged 16, so we'll take it. 16, 3, 4, and 1 steal. It's a really good stat line. Brought in quite a, I mean, a couple. The other transfers, I guess, or the other main transfer would be Corey Camper from UTEP. Averaged 10, 3, and 2. Um, I like Elijah Price. He's a nice player. 10, 8,
I I
and
really like Elijah
a
Price.
block and a half and a steal and a half as well.
Yeah.
That's insane. And then I think Joel Arm Armo trading.
Mhm.
Um he's not a bad five. The depth is kinda iffy and I don't really see a whole lot of scoring out of Comer, but I think the team's solid.
Yeah, I really like Comer, and then Elijah Price is my guy. I think he's going to take a huge leap. He's such a good defender. I think he's going to improve his efficiency this year. I like returning Tyler Rollison from last year. He was a good
Mm,
piece. Um, Von Weems is a guy coming in. I think he's a D2 guy or
mm,
JUCO guy. He should be good. I am worried a little bit worried about the front court depth. That's going to be something to take note of. But at the top end, even like a guy like Caleb Lowry, I mean, maybe he does something for them. They don't need much to in the front court to compete. I mean, this conference overall isn't a very high level front court conference. Even at the top end, it's not anything crazy. But I do like the guard play a lot. I do like Elijah Price. A lot of this is my Elijah Price love. I think he's going to have
mm.
a huge year. So
Okay. Yeah. Well, at my seven, I had New Mexico. Did you have New Mexico?
I had New Mexico at my 9.
Okay. Yeah, they definitely took a huge step back after losing Patino, which sucks. They were a really nice team last year. But I do think they'll still actually have a pretty solid defensive lineup. I like that defense aspect of the team. They didn't bring, I don't see really one scorer on this roster. Like that kind of sucks. But
Tajavis Miller from North Dakota State
yeah,
actually was
he
decent.
averaged 10, decent shooter. But I mean, it's North
Yeah.
Dakota State as well coming into Mountain West, so I don't. Yeah, it's kind of rough on the offense end, but Dayton Albury, I actually liked him a little bit. Utah State, I think he's solid. Um, like you said, to Javius Miller from NDSU. Chris Howell is pretty solid, I think. He averaged 2 steals at UC San Diego. He got a pretty good amount of play time. I like him. And then Kevin Patton from USC. Uh, he had a lot of minutes for the low stat line, but because he's a really good defender, he averaged steal and a half, block and a half. Um, but I mean, yeah, same thing. Offense, it's not really there. So, um, and then they also have JT Rock from Iowa State, who's big. So, like I said, I think the defense on this team could be really solid, but there's like almost no hope on offensive end.
Yeah, like you said, transfer heavy roster. I'm pretty sure they returned 0 minutes from last year. Uh,
Mhm.
that's it's something. I mean, obviously losing your head coach is going to cause some of that, but returning no minutes is interesting. I don't love the transfers, especially on the offensive end. I do like Javis Miller. I'm not huge on Dayton Albury, Utah State. Chris Howell from UC San Diego is a good defender. Like you talked about, he can be a 3-and-D guy, but he's not going to be necessarily a lead scorer. A lot of people are expecting like Antonio Chol coming in from JUCO to be good. He played D1 and then transferred to JUCO, and then he's back here with New Mexico. I don't know. I had him at 9 just because of the rough looking transfers, especially on the offensive end. So that's why I had him so low.
Yeah. Okay. At 6, I had Colorado State. Where'd you have Colorado State?
6 or Colorado State, I had it 7,
Okay. I
right
like
around the same
Colorado
area.
State. I think this is gonna
Yeah.
be the Pasquarelli show. I love Pasquarelli. He's awesome. Also one of the better shooters in the country. Average 40% from three, 7 threes a game at Marist. 16 and 2. I think he's gonna be awesome. Augustanis Hudalis, a Lithuanian from VMI. He's also gonna be one of their top scorers. I think he's pretty solid. He averaged 15 and 6. He's a, I mean, I think he'll
Uh,
start. He'll be
you think
one of
he'll
the.
start?
I think he starts. Yeah. I mean, I don't see many wings on this team, honestly. Um,
Yeah, they've got Jevin Muniz from FGCU, who I think might start at
I
the
had him off the
3.
bench,
Gotcha.
and then Brandon Reichsteiner, from VT. I think he
Hmm.
starts as well. He was the other guy I had in the backcourt. 7, 1, and 3. I think he's pretty decent. It's really just about Pasquarelli for me. Kerry Booth, I don't know. That's kind of a he bounced around a bit, I think, from power schools, but
Hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to what to see. The Jopla, um, there's 2 and 1 last year. There's not the hope for the big front court is kind of rough, but I love Pasquarelli, so that's where I really like the team. I guess there's not much else, honestly.
Yeah, in the front court, I'm not sure who the starter is going to be. I don't hate Kerry Booth. Obviously, he hasn't proven himself yet, but I mean, at this level, I think he could succeed. I do like Rashawn Mbemba as a returner. Should play the 4. I do love the shooting on this team. I had Nevada over them. It was really close who I had at 6 and who I had at 7 between Colorado State and Nevada. I do like this roster. I do love the shooting. Like you said, Pasquarelli, almost 40% on 7 attempts is sick. I think he's going to be able to replicate that just as well here. So I do like this team. I think they're going to be able to get up a lot of threes, and that's important in this conference.
Mm-hmm. Okay. At 5, I had GCU.
I had GCU on my 4.
Okay. I like this team pretty decent, but Brian Moore, um, I was surprised when I looked at the stats. He only averaged 12. I think he's gonna have a bit of a jump, honestly. From Norfolk State. Dusty Stromer, I don't know. He had some big games every once in a while, but we'll see. I guess he has some definitely a shooting upside. Jaden Henley from UNLV averaged 12, 4, and 2, decent shooter, pretty big. I think he's pretty solid to add. One of the guys I really liked was Nana Owusu Anai
Hmm.
from Brown. Brown was on my teams last year. He was a part of that, him and Lily. 15, 9, a block, and a steal. I think him and Brian Moore, those are my two guys from the team. There's not a lot of shooting, but I do think they're like a couple decent scorers. I kind of like with some of these teams where they don't really have like a clear heavy score. I think they have a lot of decent scores all around. Makai Williams averaged 8 last year. Caleb Shaw averaged 6. So there's a little bit of scoring kind of sprinkled throughout the lineup. They have solid size. I think they have pretty decent depth, which is nice. They have pretty tall bigs and a couple heavy set wings. So I like the uh, look for the team.
Yeah, I really like the depth for GCU. I like them in this conference. Like you said, Brian Moore from Norfolk State and then Nana from Brown are two really solid transfers. I think Dusty Stromer is a good candidate for breakout.
Mm,
Former Zag, he's been okay. He's definitely shown the shooting chops. Has games where I watch quite a few Zags games. I mean, he has games where it looks like he could be a really good starter for one of the better teams, and he has some games where it's like you see the defensive lapses, you see some of the ball handling lapses. So I think he'll be a good piece for GCU. And then you talked about actually do like the shooting a little bit.
mm,
Caleb Shaw was a good shooter. I like Wilhelm Breidenbach. He's coming from UW. I mean, there's nobody who's exactly high volume. Caleb Smith from UC Riverside had 5 threes a game. He shot 33%. That's solid. But I actually do like the shooting here. Jaden Henley from UNLV, I think, is going to be really, really good for them. He averaged 12 and a half at UNLV last year. Solid efficiencies, 43% from the field, 35 from three. So yeah, I do like this team. I like their size. I like the freshman talent. F.A. Demiral is a guy coming in. I think he's going to start at the five, honestly,
mm.
as a freshman coming in. So I like what they have. I'm excited to see GCU. I like Bryce Drew a lot as well.
Oh, see. Okay, so at 4, I have the Drew Crew. I have Boise State. Yeah,
At
Boise State.
four, at
Yes,
four,
yes,
at
I had to.
four,
I
you
had to.
can't.
Yeah, did it even
I
out your score?
I got Boise State at one. I got
Okay.
Boise State at one.
I
The
see. I
Drew.
have.
I like the Drew crew. That's my first time hearing that.
Yeah, yeah. So, um, I mean, Dylan Andrews, Andrew Meadows, and then Drew Fielder. Those are the
Hmm.
Drews, I believe.
Yep.
Meadows is the guy, or Meadow. He's awesome. I do really like Meadow. And Dylan Andrews, he's solid. RJ Keeney, um, he'll be a solid vet. Uh, Devon Buchanan, 10 and 4, big wing. Meadow, stretch forward. He's a fun player. But I don't see the shooting really. I the Cavs honestly this team a lot for me. Meadow was the only guy I saw that was like a good shooter last year. And even that was really just like positional value. Um, man, I don't know. I like him as a first option, but I think he'll have to carry quite a bit in the continuity. Will definitely have to be some development here. I think that's where they really set themselves apart, but the rest of the team kind of iffy for me.
So I went to their secret scrimmage exhibition game against the University of Idaho Vandals last weekend. The final score, I believe, was 89-83. Boise State winning. It's a pretty deceiving final score. Boise State was up by like 15 with a few minutes left. Vandals hit some shots at the end to bring it close, but both teams looked good. What I really liked from Boise State was their shooting, and you talked about how. And once again, we're not going to take too much out of this. It's an exhibition game. Holy moly, Drew Fielder lit it up. Transfer from Georgetown. I believe he ended up with 20. Looked really good. Last year, he shot 25% from three, but he was shooting it a little bit. I think he's going to have a breakout year. Another guy who looked really good was Javon Buchanan. He's playing some big man minutes, plays really well for his size, good energy. The defense looked good. Some of the rebounding wasn't great. They gave up quite a few offensive rebounds that shouldn't have been given up, but also their offensive rebounding was good. They crashed the boards really well. I think Andrew Meadow could be a contender for Player of the Year in the conference. I really like Andrew Meadow. Um, even even Dylan Andrews from UCLA, Pearson Carmichael played really well. Maybe this is bias. I'm a big Boise State guy, but I think I do like this team. I think they're going to be the best team in the conference.
Okay. I had to humble your rating a little bit by putting them at
Right.
4. I think
Well, just to even it out.
they had like I could have had them above my 3. So at 3 I had UNLV. Where do you have UNLV?
UNLV, I had them at 5.
Okay. So I am pretty high on this team because I do think they have two guys I really like from mid majors in Miles Che and Kamani Hamilton. I think that's a great duo. And then they also brought in 3 other power 4 guys I think who will start with them. And Drake, Gibbs, Lawhorn, Nas Cunningham, and Lady Dembele. I'm not really sure about Nas Cunningham, honestly. He's a 4 star. He has a good frame, but we didn't see anything last year. I don't know. I mean, the floor could definitely be a bit low because I know Gibbs Lawhorn and Nas kind of like okay, and then Dembele. I mean, the front court's probably not ideal, but honestly, I think they, I think they're just really solid. I don't know. It's kind of like a gut thing. I like Che and Hamilton, so that carried the pick. Um, yeah, it's kind of like a there's a couple boomer bust guys that I think could be kind of downfally, but they have some nice shooting too. Chase shot 43% from three. Al Green from LA Tech shot 42%, 4.5 threes. Howie Fleming, 42%. They brought some overseas guy, Walter Brown, New Zealand. They have a couple bigs who could maybe be decent. I'd hope that one of them could step up to get some more, take some play time, but there's a lot of like kind of up in the air boomer bust guys right now. So
Yeah, I'm always going to lower some teams with this much transfer talent, especially not like necessarily. I really like Miles Che as much as you do, but some of this transfer talent isn't necessarily high end.
mm,
Um, I'm not sold on like Laji Dembele transfer down, Emmanuel Stephen transfer down. I I think the talent's there, obviously. I think no returners is tough, but UNLV will be fine with that. I don't necessarily not like the team. I just don't have him as high as you. I think Miles Che will be good though. I like the shooting from him and Al Green, and so I don't know what the front court's going to look like. I assume it'll be Kamani Hamilton and then Emmanuel Stephen at the 5.
I had
Not
Dembele, but
yeah, Dembele.
yeah,
Okay, yeah,
we'll see.
yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
not sold on that, so we'll see.
okay. So at my 2 at SDSU, where'd you have them?
Okay. Yeah, that's DSU at my two. Okay.
Ooh,
I like this a lot.
okay. So, um, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing they always go with. They brought back a lot of guys. BJ Davis, Miles Bird, Magoon Guath. I think that was a really nice trio to bring back. Um, I mean, Guath in particular, I think he's really nice. He did a lot. Um, 2.5 blocks, and he even shot 30% from three on a 3.5 a game. You never know. In his first year, I was surprised he stayed. I think that's really nice for their defensive aspect of the team. They're always going to be a good defensive team. Um, they're also going to be guard heavy again. They brought in Sean Newman from LA Tech, 8 assists a game. I think he was one of the highest assist guys in the country. He's a pretty fun watch, small guard, not very efficient, but I do like that kind of do the bench, and I think he'll add. Last year, they didn't really have. They definitely didn't have a facilitator like Sean Newman, so we'll see how that affects the offense. I don't know. I mean, the defense, I think, uh, kind of like always be what they live and die by. So, what do you think?
I've never been a big fan of the SDSU teams going back to even like the national championship team. I've never been a huge fan. This roster obviously is good. Not doubting that. Miles Bird could be a player of the year contender. Reese Waters, you could argue, could be a player of the year contender. They're both really solid returners. Mugun Guath, I think, is my favorite player on the team.
Mm,
Jeremiah Odin from DePaul was solid. He's a good forward. I really like Latrell Davis, actually. He's coming from San Jose, interconference transfer. Good shooter, shot 39% last year. Um, not great at the free throw line, which is kind of weird thing to see, but yeah, he was just good. Average 11 points. They're going to be deep. I do like the front court. I like the back court. I think they're going to be competing with Boise State for that first and Utah State for the best team in the conference. So yeah.
yeah. So yeah, my one that leaves me with Utah State.
Yeah,
What do
that
you
this
got?
this this doesn't surprise me, but it surprises me. I had Utah State in my three.
Okay. So yeah, I just really love the big two, I guess, and Balslev and Templin. I think those two. I think Templin's really underrated, honestly. He only averaged 7 and 5 last year. I think he's better than that. And they also brought in Gary Clark from Texas A&M CC. I think he's a nice add. And they brought back quite a few guys, like a lot of guys actually. Drake Allen, 7, 2, and 4. Luke Kearney, 8 and 3 from Air Force. I think he's one of their lead scorers at Air Force. So shout out to that ad. Um, Jody Barnes was an interesting guy as well. He averaged last year in his first year 1, 1, 2, and 1. That was an odd one. Maybe he'll
Nice.
get some more PT. Um, Kobe King from last year 5 and 4. MJ Collins could be an interesting guy from Vanderbilt. Average 7 and 2. Never know. Um, I mean, it's gonna be a pretty top heavy team, kind of like last year, I'd say. But I do really like Falstaff and Templin. Man, I mean, I think Falstaff's player of the year for me. I think that's my
Ooh,
pick.
I like it.
Um, I don't know. I think that's for me. That's like the clear pick. But I know
Hmm.
you had Meadow. I think Meadow could contend. I Ian Martinez was a big hit, but I still like Falstaff.
Hmm.
Especially, I mean, 15, 6, 4, 2 steals, 39% from 3 on 4 attempts, and that's with Ian Martinez. Like, he could have a really big jump statistically. I like him.
I I was actually really deep diving into this Utah State team on where to put them.
Mm,
They're probably my favorite offense in the conference. One of my favorite offenses. I love their offense. Like
mm,
Mason Falslev, like you said, I think he is should be one of the favorites for player of the year. He's sick, shoots at a high volume, high percentage. The shooting on this team is so good. I think even the guys who weren't too high volume at some of their previous spots, I think they're going to be able to shoot it well. Like Luke Kearney shot five a game at Air Force, 33%. But I mean, there's no reason that shouldn't increase. Colby King shot 40% on two attempts. Like I love the offense. I like what Mason Falslev. I like Gary Clark. I really like the bench. I like the depth. Like I love the offense on this team. I think
yeah.
the defense is going to be horrible. I do not like the defense on this team,
Okay.
and I think it's going to be like just their. It's going to cause them to lose more games, and a lot. I think they're going to lose more games than as expected. I know. I mean, Utah State's been good the last few years, but some bright spots on defense. Mason Falslev is a decent defender, and I wouldn't say he's great, but he's a solid defender. Kind of a crafty defender. Gary Clark's not a great defender as a big. Tucker Anderson, not a great defender as a big. Even like Zach Keller coming in from Utah, he's all right. He's a decent big defender, but the rest of them not great perimeter defenders. I don't know. I think they're gonna get ran up some
Mm,
scores. So that worries me. But like I said, I do love the offense. So
yeah. Well, I think that's all we have for Mountain West. So,
all we have
should,
for the Mountain West.
should we move on to your hot take? You have yours ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This works perfectly. It's about Utah State, and it's about
Oh,
what I just talked about. That's what
oh,
we're going to talk about.
okay.
But I think Utah State's going to end up with a top 25 offense in the country, and I
Mm,
think they're still going to be bottom 150 in defense. I really think it's going to be that drastic of a
mm,
of a swing for this team. Um, that being said, that shouldn't take them necessarily out of contention in the Mountain West. they're coached well and they play offense well, like I said. So they should still be in contention, but I think they're going to have just a pretty abysmal defense. So, but what is your hot take?
Yeah, so mine was back to the Big East. I think Creighton is like a clean cut top 25 team. I still really like Creighton. I know I think Ken Palm they had 41. So and they're not in the AP top 25 or anything. I mean Creighton's always a nice team. I think they're getting underrated with the ads of Blake Harper and Owen Freeman. I really like that duo. And then I mean, I think you look at the stats and you might say like the returners aren't that great, but I do think that they're always good at making those returning guys. I think they work with continuity really well. I like the coaching. I think Zugic and McAndrew, I think they're both gonna take pretty big jumps statistically, and their shooting, like in that starting lineup at least, I think it's pretty nice. I mean, I like the scoring. I don't know about the defense. It's kind of never really been a thing outside of having, I mean, Kalkbrenner, obviously, he's going to bring some defense, but no Kalkbrenner. It'll be interesting to see how the defense is without him, but I think the offense is pretty nice. I think they're going to win some big games.
Well, we are disagreeing on Creighton for now, but I like that take. Looking forward to Thursday, we're going to be talking about the Big 12 and West Coast Conference contenders. Kind of previewed that with a little bit of Gonzaga talk earlier in the episode, Tyon
Mm,
Grant Foster, but big day tonight. NBA tips off. You're gonna be watching some
yeah,
games.
and OKC play Thunder
Yeah,
Rockets.
OKC. I think they're getting going here right now, actually. So I gotta go watch that ring ceremony back. Go Thunder.
Oh yeah, yeah. Haven't started yet. Yeah, it starts
Hasn't
soon.
started yet, yeah. So gonna go tap into that, and then yeah, good week. Rest in peace to the Mariners.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I'm not.
That was a beautiful homer from Springer. That was a nice
Oh,
game.
you're a criminal.
Springer, what a
That is
guy,
horrible.
Springer. That was
All
awesome. I
right.
love that
I'm
game.
gonna find myself a new co-host.
Ooh.
Yeah, that,
Go
that
go
n- t
Jays.
Toronto Blue Jays love is not tolerated here.
Oh, that's my pick. We gotta go with them now. That's you
All
gotta root
right.
for the winner. Come on.
All right. Well, I think we're out here. Be back on Thursday. Peace.
All right, see ya.